Namaste. My name is Todd Norian, and I'm the founder of Ashaya Yoga. And it's a delight for me to be here with you to give you an introduction to Ashaya Yoga. So this is a class, 45-minute class, and I'll start by just saying that Ashaya Yoga is the path of radical affirmation. That when you say yes to your life, you're saying yes to the entire universe. And what happens is you say yes, and suddenly you start going with the flow. So many times we just say no, we get a negative attitude. And when you go against the natural flow, you have a life full of resistance. You start to carry a lot of burdens. Yes is what really expands us. It opens doors, it creates opportunities. And yes brings you into the flow of freedom, which is really why we're here. So we want to learn how to say yes more and more. Even to negativity, we say yes first. Then we can step back and say no. There are times to say no. No is creating a healthy self-boundary, and we need that at times. So when you say no, it's almost as good as saying yes, because you're saying no to whatever is against life. And so in a certain way, the universe can only say yes. Whatever it is that you say inside of yourself, the universe is always saying yes to that. So we want to say yes to being the current of life, to all that's life enhancing. We want to say no to all that's against life, which is good as saying yes. And when you have a balance of yes and no, your heart cracks open. You recognize your true nature, which is joy. Please take a comfortable seat. First thing we do is elevate the hips on one or two blankets. So you're up sitting about 4 inches. This is going to give you a natural curve in the back. And then to enhance the curve, you grab hold of your thigh with both hands and internally rotate it while you widen it. Do that to both sides. And you take the sitting bones and just sort of widen the sitting bones apart. Now that you have a curve, draw your tailbone down to give a little length to the curve. The low belly will pull in and up. Join your index fingers and thumbs like this. It's a mudra or a gesture called Jnana Mudra, which means mudra of knowledge. What I like about this is that it really connects our individual nature, symbolized by the index finger, with the universal nature. So we touch this universal. It's almost like saying yes to life, and then palms down to become the embodiment of that yes. And then close your eyes and begin to draw inside. Say yes to your breath and let the breath flow deeply in and out. Lengthen your side ribs. That's the rib cage area. Those muscles get really tight. So just lift your shoulders a bit and then take the top of your shoulders back. It's the head of your arm bones. Lightly hug your shoulder blades onto your back ribs. Lift your throat and take your palate back. That's the roof of the mouth goes back. And while you keep it back, lengthen the back of your skull upward. Bring your chin parallel to the floor. And then place your palate directly over your pelvis and align your head, your heart, and your body. Draw in a deep breath. Let this be your yes. Say yes to life. And as you exhale, say no to all that's not life enhancing. Inhale, even a bigger yes. Let your collarbones smile upward. And as you exhale, release whatever's in the way of your saying yes. Just let it go. Release the burdens. And then draw into your heart and dwell there for a few moments. The heart is symbolized as the space between yes and no. It's the very center of the self. Go into your heart now and create a heart intention for yourself. What do you want to receive from this class, from your yoga? And what do you want to affirm in life? And then offer your intention out energetically into the universe. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. This is another mudra called Anjali Mudra, which means to receive or give a blessing. And then we'll attune our energies to each other using the Sanskrit sound of Om, which is a sacred sound. I like to think of Om as the way that we chant yes to all that is. Take a deep breath. And to the yes in your own heart, gently bow. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Namaste. Welcome back. All right, please join me in a standing position at the front of your mat. I'll be with you in just a second. Ashaya Yoga is composed of 4 essential components. I call them the 4 essentials. They are open, engage, align, and expand. These 4 essentials interweave with the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, and sky, which is what composes the whole body. And everything in material reality is composed from these 5 elements. So when you open, you kind of are saying yes, and you expand and open a space like the sky element. Put your hands on your side ribs. Take a big breath in and lift your rib cage. I call this side ribs long. Notice how your armpits will lift up as well. And then you take the head of your arm bones back. These are the heads of your arm bones, and they go back. So side ribs long, head of the arm bones back. And take a deep breath again. Feel your collarbones lift and widen. And then just try to keep the lift without using your hands. The first essential, open, also needs to have a strong foundation. So foundation is whatever's touching the floor. So you look down, and in this pose, Tadasana, mountain pose, we want the feet parallel and hip distance apart. The markers for hip distance apart is the frontal hip bones. So the second toe lines and the frontal hip bones should be lined up under each other. And then the front ankle through the second toe lines are what indicates parallel feet. Because everybody's feet are shaped differently. You can't just say, line up the inner edges of your feet or the outer edges of your feet. And typically we stand with one foot out or both feet out, kind of like this, which really pulls the thighs out of alignment and puts pressure on the discs of the spine. So the very first step in the method is set your foundation. So feet parallel. Foundation also reflects the quality of intention that you hold. So if we hold the intention of saying yes to life, we want to say yes to lining up with the optimal blueprint of the body. And there it is, palms in front. The second essential is engage. And that's when you try to hug the muscles onto the bones. That's what muscles are designed to do. They're designed to contract. So press your palms, lift your toes, notice how your muscles of your legs engage, and then you can squeeze the middle. I'm going to invite you to get a block or anything that has some kind of width to it so you can squeeze it. And you put it between your upper inner thighs, short end facing forward. And then this gives you something to squeeze. So feet parallel, lift your toes, squeeze the block, palms in front. When the muscles contract, you support the joints, you create a lot of safety. Of course, there's heat, there's warmth. And you start to build the fibers of the muscles in strength. So hug in and say yes to strength. Then align is a little more complicated, but it's almost always aligning two equal and opposite actions. So I can show you from the side view. So you squeeze the block, and then to align, the thigh bone should go back, which will generate a larger low back curve. And then you keep your thighs back as you pull your tailbone down. So thighs back, tailbone in is the water and fire elements, and that constitutes a line. And this is how we align the hips and pelvis. There's shoulder alignment, head alignment, thoracic alignment. There's lots of different alignments, but the main one that we'll focus on today is thighs back and tailbone in. And once you're all lined up like this, then we get to say yes. So from the core of the pelvis, push down through your feet, and with a yes, from the core of the pelvis, inhale and stretch your arms up. We move from the core of the pelvis because that's the center of gravity and the point that's closest to the foundation of all the different centers. And it pulsates. Energy flows up and into it, and then energy flows from it down into the earth and up through the torso to the sky. These centers contain a pulsation, and the term for pulsation is spanda. So the spanda center, there's one spanda center that's active in every pose. So in this pose, in all standing poses, it's the core of the pelvis. So from your pelvis, root down through the feet. From your pelvis, inhale, rise up, say yes to life, reach up, and continue to stretch. So from your pelvis, push through the bones of your feet into the earth, and from your pelvis, rise even higher. The body has infinite capacity to stretch, but even as you say yes, you do need to say no. So hug in, stretch, but don't overstretch. And as you hug in and as you stretch out, you find the place in the middle. Exhale, release. Arms down, palms in front of the heart, and remove the block. So you just learned the 4 E's: open, engage, align, and expand. Now we're going to put it into a few different poses. So come to the front of your mat. Align your feet, hip distance apart, parallel underneath the frontal hip bones. Palms in front. Hug in. And then inhale, stretch your arms up and look up. Exhale, fold forward. Hinge from your hips. Bend your knees a little bit to take any strain out of your back. Lightly touch the floor with fingertips, the eagle talons. Or another thing that can be super helpful is if you can't reach the floor, you just put your hands down on blocks like this. Okay, so grab some blocks or books, anything that will prop up that you need. Inhale, lift your heart halfway forward with a big yes, and then exhale, bow. Inhale to flow with the current. Exhale, say no to all that's against life. And then inhale, yes to all that enhances life. Do this 2 more times. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift. Now, step your left foot back into lunge, left knee down to the floor, and scissor your legs. Bring both hands up onto the right knee, come upright, and charge your legs toward each other. The scissor is like a scissor where, one blade goes back, the other blade goes forward. So you scissor, right leg pulls isometrically backwards, and the left knee pulls isometrically forward. And you'll feel your muscles tone here. It's really quite strengthening. Inhale, stretch your arms up, lift up, curl your tailbone in more, arch back just a bit more. And then exhale, release, step forward, left foot. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, right foot back, Lunge and right knee down to the floor. Charge your legs with a yes. Place your hands on your left knee. Pause and breathe. That's the first essential. Remember the bigger energy. We open to the sky, bigger energy. Then engage, hug your legs to the middle. Now thighs back, tailbone in, stretch your arms up. And from your pelvic core, root down into the earth. And from your pelvis, expand with a yes. Say yes to your breath. Say yes to the stretch. At the same time, hug in. We set a healthy self-boundary. If you need to release the pose sooner than I'm guiding you, just come down. It's totally fine. Listen to your body. Arch back a little bit more, tailbone in. And exhale. Release. Step back, come into table pose. Walk your knees under your hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers. Bring your wrist creases straight ahead, parallel to the short end of your mat. And then be sure that the center of your wrist is as wide as your outer shoulder. You can just eyeball it. And then remember the bigger energy. Then claw your fingers and your hands. So we want to claw down and press with the pads, which is the fleshy part of the finger underneath the fingernail. And the root of the fingers, which is right where the finger joins the hand. These are called metacarpal knuckles. And it's not as easy as it sounds to press pads and roots. You have to really engage your hands. When you can do the hand placement like this, all the intrinsic muscles of your hands strengthen, and then your arms strengthen, your shoulders strengthen, and you prevent any kind of pressure in the wrists. So bring your hands down and claw pads and roots. Make sure your index finger knuckle is down. And then pull your palms isometrically toward each other and pull up from the hands into the heart. And then, keeping your arms super strong, let that be the boundary. Say yes with your heart and melt the heart. Yes softens us, expands us, lets us open to what is. So melt the space between the shoulder blades, mid-thoracic spine. Good. And, say no to over melting, because then you come into, I call it the collapsed mule pose, just all the way down. So keep your waistlines lifted, tailbone in a bit. And find the perfect balance between yes and no. And then lift your sitting bones up, arch your back, inhale, look up into cow pose. And then pull your tailbone down, dome your belly up towards your spine, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And you can see that this also gives way to inhale to all that's life enhancing, and exhale, release what's no longer needed. Inhale, say yes to the moment. Exhale, release whatever blocks the yes. And do a couple more rounds on your own. Enjoy the movement of your spine. Your body will start to heat up a little bit, and that's fine. That's what we want. Very good. Come back to center, walk your knees back about 3 inches, curl your toes under, and stretch your hips back towards your heels, but don't move your hands. Puppy dog pose, Shishuhasana. And claw your hands and pull from hands to heart and lift your armpits up. Keeping the armpits up as the boundary, melt the heart down. And you should feel a stretch through the sides of your back. Feels really, really good. Take a breath, enjoy it, say yes to it. And then come back into table, lift your knees up, go to downward dog, and then walk the dog. So press your one heel toward the floor, bend the opposite knee, and go back and forth. Deepen your breath. Downward dog is a little bit more difficult to hold, so stay with it. If you need to come down at any time, just bend your knees and bring your knees down to the floor. Very good. Okay, now the 4 essentials of downward dog. Breathe, open to the bigger energy. Bend your knees a lot. Squeeze, do pads and roots of the hands down, and then pull up from hands to the heart and lift your shoulders up away from the floor. At the same time, melt the heart. Then take your thigh bones back. Inner edges of your thighs go back, but keep your heels, say no to the heels turning in. You keep the heels straight back. Now take your inner thighs back. Then draw your tailbone in, and from your heart, push down into the earth through your hands. And from your heart, lift up through your hips with a big yes to life. And yes to endurance and strength. Then exhale and step by step walk in. Come to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, root down through your feet. Sweep your arms out to the side and come all the way up. Look up. And then exhale. Release your arms with a big yes in front of your heart. And just feel for a moment the energy and the flow of blood and lymph and prana that goes through your body. Okay, please join me with a wide stance. The long edge of your mat. Bring your feet parallel and then stretch your arms up and measure ankles as wide as wrists. Then hands to hips. Square your left foot. Turn your right foot all the way open to 90 degrees. Hug your legs. And then exhale, bend your right knee to a square and bring your forearm down on the right thigh. Left hand to your hip. Bend enough so your ankle is directly above your ankle. Your knee is above your ankle. And then find your breath again. Breath is life. Breath is yes. That's what sustains us. Breath is, wanting life to happen. So tune into your breath and it'll take you to yes. Then hug your legs in toward the middle. Just scissor. We need to say no to hold the boundary, and then thigh bones back. So lean your torso a little bit toward the front of the mat so your hips go back, and then pull your tailbone in. From your pelvis, reach your feet, and from your pelvis, stretch your left arm up and over. Lift your heart. Good. We need to say yes more often with our whole being. That's how opportunities arise, doors start to open, life gets better. Now, root down through your feet, inhale and come up, hands to hips. Square your feet and turn your right foot parallel to the short edge of your mat. Turn your left foot open, hug your legs, and second side. Bend your left knee, forearm on your thigh. Pause and breathe, just assess the stretch, relax, and then hug your legs to the middle. When you hug your muscles, your balance improves, you get stronger, you have more of a container to say yes. Thighs back, tailbone in. Take your right arm up and over. With a big yes, root from your pelvis through your feet, from your pelvis all the way out through your fingertips. Now focus on your breath. Let your body become the container and fill the container with light, with the vibration, the affirmation. This is the path of radical affirmation. What's radical about it? We look at everything in life as for our awakening, even negative experiences. What can you learn from every single experience? And then root down through your feet, And inhale, come up, square your feet, hands to hips. Walk your feet back to center. Very good. All right, excellent. Come down onto your belly next. Belly to belly with the earth. Say yes to that. Point your toes back. And then claw with your hands. Pull up from your feet to the pelvis. Lift your inner thighs, tailbone in. And then lift the head, neck, and torso. Claw with both hands. Isometrically pull back. So hold the boundary of no in your hands. So your shoulders go back and the shoulder blades hug strongly to the back ribs. And then say yes with the heart. Let your heart melt forward from your pelvis, push back through your legs, and from your pelvis, reach all the way up through your head. Exhale down. Now bring your left forearm out in front, parallel to the short edge of your mat. Elbow is close to being under the shoulder, a little like an inch or two in front. And then bend your right knee, reach back. If you can't hold your foot, you can get a belt, put it around the foot and hold the belt. Bring your heel toward the hip. Breathe. Press the base of your right thigh down on the floor, drag forward, then tailbone in. If you can do this position, bring your thumb to the inner edge of your big toe, and then pivot, thumb down, elbow up. And if that doesn't work for your shoulder, just hold the foot however you can. Lift your heart, ribs toward the left. This is Ardha Bakasana, half frog. Pull down through your tailbone and actually lift the belly as though there were a little crystal, quartz crystal underneath the navel. Lift up off of that. And breathe. Lift your throat, take your head back. And exhale, release. Switch arms. Right forearm in front. Bend your left knee. Hold the foot. And then with the base of your left thigh, drag forward, tail in. Ribs right. And take some deep breaths. Take your left shoulder back a bit more. Lift your heart up a bit more. And breathe into the stretch. Say yes to the stretch. And then exhale, release. Fold your hands. Make a little pillow for your head and turn your head to the side. Now bend both knees. Reach back for both feet, one in each hand. If you can't reach, you can put a belt around the feet. Hold the belt. Bring your knees hip distance. Turn your feet out slightly. Roll your thigh bones in. And then pull down through your tailbone. And inhale, push your feet back into your hands so your shoulders lift. Good. Now lift your knees up away from the floor a bit more. Tailbone strong. Spread your toes. Take your shoulders back. And breathe. Good. Say yes to the deep stretch in the back. All the back muscles contract and get stronger while you open the front. So take your tailbone in, say no in the back body and yes in the front body. Yes to the stretch. Yes to open and go beyond limitations. And then exhale, release, come down. Big breath in, big breath out. Good. All right. Well, slowly come up and come onto your back. Bend your knees. And then bring your right knee in, hold the back of your right leg, and stretch your right foot up. And push your right thigh deep into your hands. Provide a little boundary with your hands. So say no with your hands, but say yes with your thigh. Like push the thigh as far back into the hands as it will go. Create a low back curve. So your low back should not be touching the floor at all. Stretch up through your heel so you get a big stretch in the back of the right leg. And exhale, release. Left knee in. Hold the back of the hamstring. Stretch up. And breathe. And now push your left thigh even more into the back of the thigh. Say yes. There's always more. Push up from your pelvis to the heel. Provide the no with your hands, but move the thigh with a big yes. And the combination, when you have a balance of yes and no, you go to that perfect place in the middle, the heart. The heart opens. You gain an insight, some insight about life, about your true nature. Exhale, release. Stretch both legs out. This time, bend your right knee and place your right foot up on the thigh of the left leg. Left hand to the right knee, and assist your right knee all the way down to the left for a supine twist. Once you're almost all the way down, then take your thigh bones back. Just lift your hips up and come more onto the side of your left hip. Then right arm out in a T. And with each inhalation, press the right knee toward the floor. Lift your heart with a big yes. And then exhale and twist to the right. Say yes to the right shoulder all the way down to the floor. Say yes to the stretch. Inhale, slowly come back to center. Readjust your hips so they're straight. Stretch your right leg out and put your left foot on top of the right thigh. Right hand to the left knee, and then exhale. Knee across the body toward the floor. And then you can put your left hand on the floor. Lift your right hip. Slide it back an inch. Then left arm straight out to the side. And it's always going to be a balance here. The left knee that may come all the way down to the floor or not, and the left shoulder blade that may lift up. So try to melt the left shoulder blade down, thighs back, tailbone in, and then press your left knee toward the floor. Breathe. Twist to the left, turn your head to the left, and say yes to the stretch. See if you can go a little bit further. Hug muscles to bones, but also relax deeply, both at the same time. Inhale, release, and come up. Hug both knees to chest. Pause just for a moment. And then try to move the base of the sacrum toward the floor. So move your knees away from you and just roll from the top of the sacrum, the triangle-shaped bone in the low back, right in the hips actually, to the base of the sacrum, such that the lower back arches off the floor. Exhale, release, roll to your right side. And come on up. Grab yourself a couple of blankets to sit on. We're going to end the class with a little meditation, and then we'll lie down in Shavasana right after that. Manually roll your thigh bones in, which is what we did at the beginning of the class. So that you have a low back curve, then draw your tailbone in. Bring your index fingers and thumbs together, palms down on your thighs. Close your eyes, lengthen your side ribs, take that of your arm bones back, and then say yes to the breath and let it flow freely in and out. Turn inward now. Notice the incoming breath, and then there's a little pause, and then the outflowing breath. And at the bottom of the exhalation, allow a short pause. And see if you can let the breath breathe you. We'll practice a form of silent mantra meditation where we use the mantra Ham-sa, H-A-M-S-A, which is considered one of the greatest mantras that there is. It means I am that, meaning I am the universe. I am the all that is, and that everything I need is already inside of me. I am the freedom. I am the boundary. I am the yes, and I am the no. Sit quietly. Then offer the thought of the mantra Hamsa into the field of your awareness. It's like dropping a small round pebble in a still pond. What happens is that these rings of vibration emanate out from the mantra. And then repeat it. Continue at a comfortable pace. And allow the mantra to guide your awareness inward. At times your mind will wander, then just bring your awareness back to the mantra. At other times, the mantra begins to go deeper. And there's a point where you're not really even sensing that you're thinking the mantra, but it's there. It's being held in a very deep, faraway space, like a distant star. The presence of the mantra is there. And we'll sit for a minute or so in silence as you practice repeating the Hamsa mantra. And now release the mantra. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and offer a gentle bow to the silence. You now come lie down on your back And we'll rest for a few minutes. So come, just lie down flat on your back, arms, palms up by your sides. Take your time to totally let go now. Take a couple of deep breaths. Release your muscles away from the bones. Allow your bones to descend into the earth. Even allow your organs to descend towards the back of your body. Begin to relax your feet and your toes. Relax your ankles. And like a wave of warm, healing water, let the flow of relaxation move up through the calves, to your knees, backs of the knees, to your thighs. Let it flow into the hips, pelvis, buttocks. Relax your abdomen, your lower back, and release your upper back. Release the burden from your shoulders. Let go of all responsibilities just for a moment. Release any need to make any decisions. Then imagine a cascade of relaxation flows down from the shoulders to the arms, to the elbows, forearms, wrists, forming pools of light in the palms, the fingers, the fingertips. See if you can relax the space between your fingers. And then relax your neck. Relax your face. Release your tongue, the hollow in the center of your tongue, the back of the tongue, tip of the tongue, your teeth. Allow your lips to rest lightly on the surface of your teeth. Relax your eyes. Allow your eyes to descend towards the back of your skull. Let all stress drain out of the eyes. As your eyes become rejuvenated, they swell with life force, moist, full. And relax your skull. And finally, your whole body. Let your whole body relax. And let your consciousness be filled with the spaciousness of the sky. Vast, unbounded, full of possibility, full of dreams to be lived. Receive now a blessing of yes, of affirmation from the whole universe to you. And affirm silently to yourself, I am worthy to be here. I am enough just as I am. I accept myself for who I am. I am worthy of love. And I'm totally aligned and in agreement with my higher self. Life has my back, and I say yes to the current of the universe that always brings me to a place of goodness in my heart. I am strong, healthy, vibrant, and whole. My mind is clear, sharp, and focused. I stand tall in who the universe has made me to be. I am centered in grace. I am centered in yes. And now very slowly begin to return. Receive all the benefits and blessings of the class in the form of your breath. And breathe all the way down through your fingers and toes. Slowly move fingers and toes. As you're ready, you can gently stretch. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, roll to the right side, and come up to a seated position. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Close your eyes. We give thanks for this time to practice. We give thanks for this time just to be present, to flow in the current of life, to let go of obstacles, to release the burden of stress, even just for a few moments. May we come back into our heart with a big yes, a big embrace of life and all that is. And we'll take a breath now and express this gratitude through the sound of Om. Om. The yes in me bows to the yes in you. Namaste. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Great. Hope to see you in class sometime. So you can go to ashayayoga.com and come join a class. Okay, take care. Have a great rest of your day.